This is Valley News Live at noon.
Thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Tata Miller. Campus protests against the war in Gaza escalated overnight across the country, with protesters and counter-protesters clashing at UCLA and in New York City, where police cleared out demonstrators who took over a building at Columbia University. Michael George has the latest from New York.
Violent clashes erupted overnight on UCLA's campus between pro-Palestinian protesters who had set up an encampment and counter-demonstrators who launched what looked like some kind of fireworks into the tents. They also attempted to knock down the barriers in front of the camp.
There was a lot of fights going on too, like people started hitting each other with sticks.
There did not appear to be a law enforcement presence on the campus for hours, but eventually police did arrive. Heated confrontations also escalated overnight at Columbia University as New York City police officers moved in. Some climbed through a window to get protesters out of an academic building they'd been occupying. The officers entered at the request of the university.
We knew these children were being exploited and they were in danger.
New York City's mayor blamed outside agitators for the rise in tension.
It was clear we had to take appropriate actions. When our intelligence division identified those who were professionals, well-trained, one of them was married to someone that was arrested for terrorism.
Police also began clearing the tent encampment that has been the symbol of the protests on Columbia's campus for nearly 2 weeks.
We will not stop, we will not rest this close.
And it's not just the coasts. Police responded Wednesday to pro-Palestinian protests from Tulane University in New Orleans to the University of Wisconsin. The demonstrations have sparked more than 1,000 arrests nationwide since they started. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The NYPD said they made hundreds of arrests overnight in connection with the protests. Police will remain on campus until at least the middle of the month to prevent another encampment. Columbia University said students who had been occupying the building now face expulsion. Let's get a check of the forecast now with the First Alert Storm Team, Summer Schnellbach. Summer.
Hello and good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. We're seeing a little bit more sunshine now heading into our Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures responding nicely to the sun, now into the 40s and 50s. We're at 57 in Fargo, 56 Grand Forks, right at 50 in Detroit Lake. A little cooler, Bemidji and Devil's Lake, upper 40s. We do have still a bit of cloud cover hanging around that's gradually decreasing though from the west to the east. So more areas will see additional sunshine into this afternoon. In Fargo today, temperatures going to be warming up into the mid 60s, just a little bit of a breeze out of the west diminishing through this evening. We're now into a new month. May, moisture trending a little bit above average across the Red River Valley. And when we come to temperatures, well, temperatures trending with an equal chance for above or below average temperatures. And here's a look at some of those averages. In Fargo, averages today 62, by the end of the month 74, and precipitation just over 3 inches. In Grand Forks, temperatures warming from 60 to 73 on average, with moisture Tatum just under 3 inches, coming in at 2.8. We do have more moisture in the forecast and some warmer temperatures. We'll take a look at that all here in just a few minutes.
It's looking like a beautiful 1st of May.
It really is, yes.
Thank you, Summer. An Underwood, Minnesota woman is hurt after a crash last night in Grant County. State Patrol says 25-year-old Janie Lee was driving when her vehicle went off the road and hit the cable guardrail. The vehicle continued down the ditch embankment, eventually running into a tree. Lee was taken to Lake Region Healthcare with non-life-threatening injuries, but State Patrol says alcohol was a factor in the crash. We're still waiting to hear an update on a 1.5-year-old boy found floating face down in nearly 5 feet of water just before 1 yesterday afternoon in rural Fergus, Minnesota. The boy's mother told deputies she was outside with her 3 kids when she lost sight of the boy. He was found in the water behind an old barn on their property. However, officials say the boy was conscious before being airlifted to an area hospital. His current condition is unknown. A man has been arrested after a high-speed chase in Jamestown. Here's video from a VNL viewer showing the vehicle speeding through a residential area in Jamestown. Highway Patrol says they tried to stop the vehicle for speeding on I-94, but it took off through the city before crashing into another vehicle. 27-year-old Chance T. Standridge of Mandan was booked into the Stutsman County Correctional Center for fleeing a police officer, reckless endangerment, leaving the scene of a crash, and 6 outstanding warrants, among other things. A Metro homeless shelter, the Fargo-Moorhead Dorothy Day House of Hospitality, is set to suspend operations on Friday. Churches United Chief Executive Officer Pastor Sue Kosterman tells us the 15 men currently residing in the shelter will need to find a new home. And current staff will be reassigned for duty elsewhere in the organization. Kosterman said Churches United is feeling the financial pinch as record numbers of people are seeking their services, but they do have several other housing options across the metro. New at noon today, Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene confirms she will force a vote to oust House Speaker Mike Johnson next week. The move comes after Democrats say they will vote to kill the effort and ensure Johnson doesn't lose his job. Greene originally filed the motion back in March in response to conservative anger over his handling of the government funding fight. Johnson has defended his leadership and said he won't resign, warning a vote to oust him could cause chaos in the House. Greene insisted she is, quote, absolutely not defying former President Donald Trump, even though Trump has defended Johnson.
We cannot let people down again. We cannot fail President Trump. Next week, I am going to be calling this motion to vacate. Absolutely calling it. I can't wait to see Democrats go out and support a Republican speaker and have to go home to their primaries and have to run for Congress again, having supported a Republican speaker, a Christian conservative. I think that'll play well. I'm excited about it.
However, the vote is expected to fail as many Republicans oppose it, saying they don't want another House GOP debacle like the one that came after former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. He was ousted in a historic and unprecedented vote last year. Sources say the Justice Department is poised to loosen federal restrictions on marijuana. As of now, pot is considered a Schedule I drug, which means it has no medical use and a high potential for abuse. Other drugs in that category include heroin and LSD. The Justice Department reportedly wants to move it to Schedule III. Those substances are considered to have moderate to low potential for dependence. That category includes things like Tylenol with codeine and steroids. Once the DOJ makes the recommendation, it'll take months to take effect after a public comment period. Americans' paychecks saw a 1.2% jump in the first 3 months of 2024. According to the Department of Labor, that's up 0.9% from the previous quarter. But U.S. consumer confidence has dropped to its lowest level in over a year and a half, according to the latest survey from research groups, the Conference Board. In April, the consumer confidence level fell to 97, down from 103.1 in March. New at noon today, this morning, West Fargo High School teacher Mendy Blake was honored with the Professional Licensed Staff of the Year award during a surprise ceremony, surrounded by colleagues, friends, and family. Ms. Blake started her career with West Fargo Public Schools in 2009 as a substitute teacher and quickly moved to full-time teaching role at West Fargo High School, where she has taught for the past 15 years. During today's ceremony, she received a crystal apple, flowers, a gift from the district and the school board, and a $500 check from the West Fargo Area Education Foundation. Congrats, Mrs. Blake. West Fargo High School will be hosting multiple events in support of Relay for Life. They'll be holding their When You Wish Upon a Cure Cancer Walk on May 10th at 4 p.m. You can also drive and eat during their Cruise for a Cure car show and Fueling the Fight Food Truck Festival on Sunday at the Veterans Memorial Arena from 11 to 3. There will be 8 different food trucks, game for the kids, and retro cars. Organizers say they are hoping to raise $30,000.
I have a lot of seniors who are leaving us this year, and so that's going to be tough. So I'm hoping the community comes out and helps them in their final quest to raise lots of money for American Cancer Society.
The walk's theme this year is Disney, so bring out the Mickey ears and dress in character. It's free to register, but donations are encouraged. Coming up next, summer is in with your full forecast to plan your day.